I've got 6:30.
All right, we're gonna call this meeting to order. Are we ready on camera there? Good. All right, thank you. Welcome to the August 21st, 2025 meeting of the City of Essex Junction Development Review Board. Michael, are there any additions or amendments to the agenda?
Time permitting, I just have some city project updates, SDEF updates near the end.
Good. Item 2, public to be heard. This is a chance for somebody in the audience who's wants to speak on something not on the agenda. Does anyone have an item they'd like to address the board with not on the agenda? Thank you. None. Minutes for approval. I have the July 17th minutes in front of me. I have no comment. I have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve. Seconded.
All right. Any discussion, changes, alterations? All in favor of the motion to approve the minutes as drafted, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. We're on to number 1.
Dylan did join.
Oh, is Dylan here? Dylan. I guess this is a good time for Michael to go with his hybrid meeting announcement.
Yep, a couple housekeeping items before I jump into the script. After last month's meeting, did some more digging into open meeting law. We are required to swear in all interested parties, not just applicants. So apologize for that misunderstanding, and we'll do that moving forward. Anyone from the public interested in speaking will be sworn in the future. Mm-hmm. Also learned that if we want to continue a hearing, we need to specify a date. We cannot just say continue the hearing. So would advise the board to pick our next regularly scheduled meeting, and we can adjust if needed.
Very good.
Moving on to our script. The meeting of the Essex Junction Development Review Board has come to order. This meeting is a hybrid meeting, which means that some or all of the public body is meeting remotely, and some are meeting physically at 6 Lincoln Street in the Culvert Room at Brownell Library, where the public may attend to observe, listen, and participate contemporaneously. One member of this public body or other staff is present at 6 Lincoln Street to ensure the public can participate if desired. Please note that while we will strive to provide means for those attending remotely to participate in the public comment period, there may be technical difficulties or reasons that otherwise prevent or interrupt remote public participation. Therefore, it is important to note that the open meeting law only ensures the public's right to participate and comment at a public meeting by attending at the designated physical location as posted in the notice and agenda. If a member of the public or if of the public body has technical difficulties accessing this meeting remotely, please alert us by using the chat uere@essexjunction.org. And in the event of a technical difficulty that cannot be resolved, we may continue the meeting if necessary to Thursday, September 18th at 6:30 p.m. at 2 Lincoln Street. Very exciting. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting that are not unanimous will be done by roll call vote in accordance with the law. As a core required by the open meeting law, let's start by having Dylan announce himself so we can make sure we can hear him and he can hear us.
Yep, I can hear you.
Thank you, Dylan. All right, all set?
Yes, so everyone speaking on behalf of an application tonight, if you would raise your right hand and take the following oath. I hereby swear that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury. Thank you.
Awesome. So we're ready to go. First public hearing is a continued hearing from July 17th. Design review for the construction of a new single-family home at 40 Maple Street in the residential R2 district by Ron Bushy. Owner is someone from Ron Bushy's application here. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Would you? No. Sure. Get the sunlight out of his eyes there.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Put the sunglasses back. Okay, so what do you want to tell us about the updated application?
So we did some better drawing plans and better lot plan. Added some distances that were missing before and everything to scale. came up with the colors, the type of windows, siding, roof color, and everything that was discussed in the last meeting.
Yeah, I appreciate they're better. They're I still feel like we're not quite in the same ballpark. So on a ballpark analogy, we started with T-ball, we're up to Little League, but we're
Little League's
Kinda
a great
hoping
sport.
for at least college level, so they're better. And I got a lot more awareness and understanding. I think you got the front facing the street ideal. I think it's the parts and pieces are here. Here's my question for Michael as well as everybody, but the way this works is that kind of you give us drawings that show us what we can expect, and then we like them or comment on them, and then we hold you to this standard when you build it, so we get what you told us you were giving us, and I'm just not sure I can go out on the street and tell you, hey, this is what your standard is. This is what our city standard is for the design overlay district, and you're fine, right? I don't feel like that's captured in the level of drawings that we have, and that's my only objection, is that for the record and for the design overlay district, and you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the fact that you're in that special district, but the reason we created the requirements for that district and stretched it out along our primary streets only was because we were getting people that were building stuff that we couldn't keep them from building, even though it was subpar, because we had nothing in our requirements or in the paper exchange.
What kind of descriptions are you looking for?
To say this is like if who can you measure that? I mean, they're going to be stakes in the ground on the corners. I mean, that's not even close to the kind of measured drawings we get on other projects. And I'm not saying they have to go to that level, but a drafts person, or it doesn't even have to be a design professional, I don't think, because it's only a single family home.
Correct.
But somebody that can draft to the point where it gets filed for the city can come out and check it and go, yep, that's what you told us, right? So
Well, that is the scale. So there's
it's-
measurements to the sides of the building, the fronts, the backs, the buildings on their size wise. There's lot pins.
yeah. So listen, so staff gave us some comments, and one of the comments was that there was some discrepancy in the scale, and that he suggested that we allow up to a 20% tolerance for design features. I can't even begin to fathom what that means on a broader scale for somebody. Let's say Tractor Supply comes in and says, we're going to give you plus or minus 20% on your project. That's just not good enough.
But I believe they have to have architectural drawings and
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
So I can't. I don't think it's what your intention is to allow up to 20% tolerance. Although, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't find these personally to be up to snuff, but you're most of the way there. I can understand the information that's on this page. I can understand the narrative that you gave us, that we're using these type of shingles. It's this color. I've got, white double hung windows. Do they have grills in them? Are there shutters? Are we, is there anything fancy about them? Would be my ongoing questions. How does the roof actually designed? Is that stick out? Is it flat? Is it just what's exactly happening there?
I believe if you look at the side elevations, it shows you the way the roof's pitched.
So we're getting close. Pressure treated wood, not my favorite. Does that get painted at some point?
The decks?
Usually you can't paint right away because it has to kind of weather. But would it be the goal to have that eventually painted?
I'm building it. I'm not the one that owns it. Mr. Bushy is.
Yeah.
So is it a necessity that he has to paint the pressure treated?
No, but we want to know what it's going to look like, and it's on the main drag as you come into town. So let's say most of, it's supposed to fit in and be sympathetic to the other buildings in the neighborhood. So if
Well, that ain't
everybody's,
gonna be hard, the buildings that are next to it, so,
yeah, there are some,
the ones right next to it, yeah.
yeah. So I will let somebody else talk because, I mean, this is my business, so I'm a little jaded possibly on.
Well, it's
on
mine
my
too. I
viewpoint.
built all this and I built the hotel
Yeah.
down the street and the 72 unit down the street and
Yeah.
all the new
Yeah.
houses over here, but they came with architectural plans, so.
Yeah, no, you're cool. I mean, I think you've got the gist of every.
It's just a
elevation.
simple 2-story colonial house
I know.
with a front
So
porch
when
and a back
so
porch.
Michael, when you go out to see that he's building what he said he was going to build, this is what you're taking with you. So what do you think?
Yeah, that's, I mean, as outlined in my staff report, we had a difficult time trying to figure out how do we come up with conditions that the board could consider. Because again, the goal of the design review overlay district, as you're pointing out, is to make sure that you, the board, understands and the public understands what the final product is going to look like. And as outlined, most of those measurements were in the 1 to 16% error range. As presented, I would encourage you to give the applicant as much guidance as you can as to what you're looking for improvements. Again, the board does have the power to require.
I feel a
design
little bit like
professionals.
it's guidance for the city as well because
Mm-hmm.
the board has no purview over enforcement and no purview over going out and making sure that what got approved is what's getting built.
Yep.
So we're in this together.
Yep.
And it's a dialogue between here's what we said they were supposed to build because that's what we approved and here's what's getting built. What do we do?
Yep.
Right. So we need to be able to do this together in terms of having a standard and holding people to the standard and then following through with the standard all the way through design and construction. So I'm saying this is on the, this is probably fine if you get anywhere out of the design review district, probably plenty, right? Here's administrative, we get it, go ahead. My awareness as being on the planning commission when we wrote that standard was to make improvements to this just for that district because we weren't happy with what we were
Understood.
getting built. We were happy what was getting approved, but what was approved was not necessarily reflective of what was getting built, and that was frustrating.
Absolutely. And I want to work to make that possible too. What I'm hoping for is, because it is going to be Chris and I, if we choose to continue this over the next month, trying to figure out what pieces need to be improved, what needs to be changed, just specific guidance on what they need to add to these plans to get it to an acceptable level.
And that's why I was asking those questions at first, because I feel
Yep.
like it's written down already, and I feel we're being asked to allow something to be submitted and approved that doesn't have that. And if I'm missing something, let me know. But that's the feeling I have.
Sure. So which elements do you feel like are missing?
Well, the measured, what does it say
I
there?
think-
It's written down on your list.
Yeah, I think it's like
The
we
first
just need
thing
a
on the
professional
checklist.
design.
Sure.
Like,
So that's what I was asking is
yeah.
if you feel like
Yeah.
a professional designer
Yeah.
is necessary to understand this project,
Yeah.
you, the board, should say
Yeah,
that.
I think I think that we would like that as volunteers on the board.
Yep.
To better understand and how to critique and just assess what they're going to build, and then you can go and say, did you build it?
Yep.
And then I also think that the city should in future should have that. I feel bad like in the checklist to say you have to have a not the Tractor Supply level, but like something of a level that is professional, so that volunteers have an understanding of the dimensions, and that are better
Yep.
than a drawing.
So I want to be clear. Yeah, the section 620 has criteria as to what an applicant is required to submit to us. They're required to submit elevations. They have elevations, description of materials. They provided that as well.
Yeah.
Plans for exterior lighting, that has not been decided yet, but I have as a condition of approval in the staff report that they need to meet LDC standards. Signs, not applicable to this project. The only thing that staff found was not on their application was drainage and snow removal, which typically is handled through the dialogue of these hearings. So from a literal sense, we found that the application materials were checked off. It's just, the question then becomes, does the board find them to be of a high enough quality to understand the project? And if the answer is no, we need guidance on how I can work with Chris to improve the
You want to
quality.
read that piece that you
Well,
have
the
there
one
that you
I
found?
have, the one I was looking at was the conceptual plan checklist. That's not the right one. Is that what you're saying?
Conceptual
Which is
plan.
before this, which was the one we got initially. Correct.
Do we need conceptual plan for this?
No, conceptual site plan approval is only required if you're building a project with 5
Okay.
dwelling units or more.
So the one, would it be the zoning application checklist for a single family home?
That is what would typically be required if this were not in the design review overlay district.
Oh, well, we need
Okay.
that anyway, and then we need more because it's in the design overlay district.
That's right.
Okay.
So what's on that?
So site plan drawn to scale with a north arrow showing lot measurements, which includes at a minimum the following. So he has most of them. I think it's from a, like what you were saying, from a, archive and filing standpoint of moving forward to track things.
Yep.
It's good to have, okay.
What was the one about the registered architect or the licensed architect?
That was on the
one?
conceptual
Okay.
site plan. Yeah.
All right, because I'd be willing to water that down, or at least accept. I think this would be light years ahead with a draftsperson, not a design professional, because that term is specific to somebody with a license and a certification. So you could be a designer, or you could even be a student or somebody who's had enough drafting experience to be able to create the visual that's being presented.
Yep.
So if we can't prove that we need that, or that, I mean, ultimately that's where I'm headed.
Mhm.
Mostly because it's a record keeping event for the city to make sure it knows what it's supposed to have.
Yep.
So at the moment, I know I'm supposed to have what I can prove on this document, and if I don't have the teeth in this to ask for more, then I will use my own powers of observation and fill in the blanks from the material submitted and say that it's fine, because I kind of know what is going to happen. I wonder if the rest of the board is willing to do that, and whether you're willing to follow through on your end with that.
Yep. Yeah, to your point, I'm in agreement with you. Put the comment in my staff report. One of my questions for the board was in recognition that perhaps we wouldn't be looking for this type of drawing for a larger project, whether if this is sufficient for the scope of a single family dwelling in the design review overlay district. So it's a big question to ask of you all, but I think this application, they're looking to get this approved. And so I think answering that question is important.
I guess I would like to say no, it's not enough, but we're going to approve it anyway. Is it really? Somehow I'm trying to
I
make
think
work. Right?
going forward, maybe this district
could
needs
you say,
more of a,
Yeah.
like a thing saying that you have to have a professional set of drawings. Maybe it's something that's going to be changed in the bylaws or whatever. So, I mean,
Well, the other people.
because I can tell you right now, if I had those professionally drawn, they're going to be drawn. It's going to cost the guy $5,000, and probably about 2.5 months. Everybody's behind right now.
Wish I could help.
I can tell you, students, I don't know where you would find one of those that would come and just draw it on their computer for you. But if you know anybody, I would love their name, because I got 50 people that would love it.
Essex High School has a building.
They do. And one of the kids that work for me used to go there, but none of them have the software.
Yeah, you
Really?
can. You could also try Norwich, which is our own local architectural, even college. They have an architectural program, and there may be some kids moonlighting if they're not already drawn up.
I would
there.
love to
Well, I
know their
do, but-
names.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a
Well, you
design
contact
program.
Yeah,
there's a
I never
director
really
of
thought of
programs or
Norwich, but-
something there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what do we want to say here? So,
I'm just trying to help this guy out because
yeah,
he
yeah, I know.
he's pretty old school and he'll draw it on a napkin for you. I'm actually going to be the one building it and running
Yeah.
it for him, so I
Yeah.
know the
I mean,
measurements
I
are
do
going to be
like
the measurements.
fact that you moved it back with the, now you have the frontage, which I think is
And
neat.
just so we
asked
could put
for
the
that.
extra tree in, and he does have a maple tree on his lot now, an oak tree, 13 12-foot tall shrubs, a bunch of, I don't know what the trees are, I'm not an arborist, so there's like 5 or 6 other trees on there, plus the 2 trees we're going to be putting on, and 5 new shrubs in the front just to make it look nice next to the sidewalk.
Okay. Well,
And it's an empty lot right now.
With a hole in it.
with a
at
hole
all.
in it. I did see you've taken the other structure down. Huh?
Yeah, they had the demo permit.
Yep. All right. So what do we have to work with here? We have a couple of motions.
So on the drawing, the shrubs and the maple trees,
Those
those
are
are the
new.
new, and that's where they would be.
That's exactly where they would be. Yeah. The maple tree might have to shift depending on just a little bit where the sewer line comes into the yard. Might have to go over a foot or something that.
I think the way that, I mean, we would probably request that the city arborist or the tree committee or the DPW people sort of coordinate exactly where the tree goes to the extent that you have.
And we
some
would be acceptable
flexibility.
to have him coming out and showing us exactly where he wants, and we can show him where the sewer and water lines are. And
Yeah, that might be. I mean, because the streetscape, it's not just your lot. The
Oh, I know.
streetscape is the whole. Like, what's the whole experience there coming in?
oh, I'd like to
So-
see the rest of the street
Yeah.
start doing this too. So yeah,
If I'm not mistaken, I think there's a utility pole like right pretty close.
well, it's
there.
right against the sidewalk. Yeah, I got
Okay.
pictures of it
In
on
the
my phone,
corner.
but that's all.
I
I
don't
didn't
know
bring
how
any
that
like hard
affects.
copies.
Yeah. Okay, so
The pole is just barely off the sidewalk, so it's say like 3 or 4 feet. So that won't be obstructed as far as like the lines that are running, the trees,
Yeah.
like at 20 feet off the
Okay.
sidewalk. So
does anybody feel comfortable coming up with a motion or using the approval motion that we had recommended by staff? I think he's addressed. The
Yeah.
applicant has addressed all the questions we had the first time around and done.
the best he could.
I don't want to.
Can
We
I
appreciate.
I can
the-
build you
the
anything, but
improved
drawing
effort.
it is usually a napkin thing for me.
Yeah.
So
mean, I move that we approve the site plan, but can we put a contingency that the city adds something to the checklist for future?
I'd be
projects in
really
this
smart.
We can't really
We
say
can't
that
do
in
that?
the motion.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
that's an after the fact.
That's an amendment.
No,
or
that
that's
can't
a-
be. That's not.
Okay.
It's not relevant to the.
To this
Can we
case.
put it in, can we just?
I
put it
would
in
be
the
happy to
notes?
work on that with you if we could get. Are you looking for a checklist for design review specifically, or what type of checklist?
I mean, a checklist for, say there's another house on this street, the one next door. So
Yeah.
the people next door are like, that house looks so good. I want to do it too.
I think it's
Yeah.
a confirmation of the acceptable material
Yeah.
level of quality.
Could
Like,
we
what
have-
do we need to see? And if the definition is enough to know what it's going to look like, it's got to be more than this, because you
Sure.
need a lot of interpretation to get to a completed house from this.
So
Do
let's
we
say
do
that
a percentage of scale that like is
No,
Like-
there is no variation. The scale is math, and math is finite. And
no,
there-
I'm saying we
only
are not
tolerances-
willing to accept these plans that have a greater than 10% error with their scale. Something that limits.
I'm gonna say that when plans get submitted and approved, then that is the approved dimensional tolerance. You can I mean, if you have to
It
move
shows
a tree
10 feet,
'cause
it's gonna
the
be
sewer
10
line
feet
is
off the
right
property
there, we
line,
all
right.
get that, but
Mhm.
but they're really not supposed to be, more than sort of the industry tolerance, which is, if you're a carpenter, it's like a quarter of an inch, right? So, if you're the concrete guy, it's a little looser than that, and
Careful with that. That's where it all comes from.
Hand-drawn
Right.
plans
right, but
up to a
Maybe that's what
10%.
I'm thinking. You guys
And
might
so
want to put in
it's
is you need
like
some kind of
specific to if you're drawing them yourself without software, we'll give you up to
there are
10%.
plenty of people that can draw by hand. Frank Lloyd Wright did all his drawings with a T-square and a pencil. All right, so you don't need software, you don't need anything but knowledge and ability, right, to do it properly. So it's not about. There are no limitations. This is better. It's better, but it's not in the ballpark yet. This is still Little League. We're looking for at least college ball here, folks.
great. Now I'm stuck at Little League again.
And there's, I mean,
And I love Little League. Don't get me
I do
wrong,
too.
but
My kid made it to Bristol, so it was great.
there are designer people you can hire that wouldn't charge $5,000. Like, I think a couple $100.
Well, you're talking
depending.
site plans. That's a different person.
Yeah. Well,
The
I'm just,
architect's
even
a
just
different
to say,
person.
just bring this to them and say, can you just make this look professional and to scale? Like, I've had people
it's
do
not
that
up to him at the moment. I don't.
No, I agree with you completely. I
Yeah.
think that's what you guys are looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think going forward, that's something that should probably be said. So
That's what we mean to have, but if we didn't say that, then you're here in front of us. We have an application. I'm still looking for a motion that we can take action on that puts this to bed.
Sorry, keep going.
I motion that we. Oh, wait,
No.
not me. Oh, not mine.
That's good. I haven't had that yet.
Well, Luke, what do you think?
Trying.
Could we? So I think my trepidation is that you're not going to build it based on these. There's going to be some additional.
I can build that up way less than that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Housing guy that you don't need.
I've done this for 34 years, so I've had ladies draw me on a napkin what they wanted, and I can do it. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. Could we require continued collaboration?
I
with the
think we can do
city?
that with the notes here, because what we're really trying to do is give Michael some ability to keep an eye on things and act as our extension in the field, since we won't be there. And that's where I'm going with a lot of this. But I don't have a problem with I know exactly where this house is going based on the site plan.
Me too.
I don't really care where north is, although it's supposed to be on there.
I
but-
don't know where north is
it's
comparative to that lot
usually-
either.
Right, but the street edge is the street edge, and you're gonna go back 33 feet, and there better be a foundation wall there, right?
Right.
So, I don't have a problem that we're, gonna be way off on things here. And that's Michael's job.
They're going to be
go
within
out.
that quarter inch.
If you're 28 feet from the sidewalk and it said 33, I got to wonder who's watching the store, but.
Right.
And then, on things like this, I think there's more detail that could be on this to, like a couple of lines to suggest that there's siding there, the line that shows maybe where the floors are. That I don't really care about that because I can't see it from the outside. So, you know what I mean? The shutters are in there, great. If the windows, you didn't feel like drawing them all in there, but you gave me a cut sheet from the store that says this is the window we're putting in there. That's. You're like
From what I
you're
understand, it's
almost
just
all
white
the way.
vinyl windows with no grills in them because they didn't want the obstruction. My wife hates grills.
Yeah. All right. So I still need a motion. Do I need to make my motion? You
I
started.
move
What
that
do
the
we got?
DRB approve the site plan application for a single-family home at 40 Maple Street by Ron Bushy, owner, with conditions as proposed, and those conditions are
Well, they're all on here.
are they here?
1, 2, 3. Yeah. I do have a friendly amendment to the dimensional tolerance item.
Oh,
That it actually say 2% instead of 20%. and if he blows it by 2%, he's probably gonna be mad at himself anyway, so. But that'll give him a little, I mean, we don't need it down to the inch, but we need to be reasonably sure that you can't figure out that it's different when you look at it.
Okay, so with conditions as proposed and a change to number 1, with only a 2% tolerance instead of a 20% for all design features apart from the building height and footprint. Do I need to go read each one of them or no?
Well, the staff knows what they are, but nobody else does, so.
Okay.
so
Number 2,
I-
do you want me to read them?
Sure, well,
The building height and footprint shall precisely match the approved plans. Number 3, any modification deemed by the staff to be substantially change the building's appearance, character, or compliance with the requirements of the LDC shall be referred to the Development Review Board for reconsideration. And number 4, all exterior light fixtures shall be down shielded and dark sky compliant as required by section 714 of the LDC. Oh, 2 more. Number 5, the applicant shall contact the city to pursue an excavation permit prior to performing any work in the public right of way. You've already done that. That's already happened, even though we haven't approved it, but it's okay. In the applicant shall contact the city for authorization prior to performing any new utility connections or changes to existing connections.
there's new 7.
And number 7, I can't read
Tree.
your handwriting. Oh, tree located with assistance from city staff. Is that what you said? Is that what that said? Yes. Any other?
I can't draw, you can't write. See, so
Any other?
we're a good team.
Son of a doctor. Luckily, there's a drafting technique now. Right?
Seconded?
All in favor?
Wait, you
Taking
made a
my-
motion.
Oh,
I seconded. And then John.
All in favor?
you did.
Aye.
Okay, sorry.
Dylan?
Aye.
All right. Both unanimous, motion carried. Thank you very much, Chris.
Made him sweat a little.
Good day.
Thanks, Chris.
It's gonna be a huge improvement.
All right, we have 2 items on our agenda related to the Tractor Supply Company. Conditionally, first one is a conditional use review for the addition of an exterior propane gas pump for Tractor Supply Company at 70 Pearl Street in the Transit Oriented Development District by Kathy West Parkway, CNA LP, and Brandon Kubik at Fully Studios Inc. on behalf of Sean Handy, care of Handy's Hotel and Rentals LLC owner. Please step up to the mic and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dan Marta. I'm an architect with Parkway Construction and Architecture. We are a design build firm that have been hired by Tractor Supply for the renovation for this project.
Thank you, Dan. Staff, do you want to provide any preliminary comments, and then we'll turn it over to Dan to do a more detailed overview for us?
Sure. So tried to organize my staff report in a logical way. So just being very clear as to why this proposal is being brought to the DRB. Given that 70 Pearl Street is already permitted as retail, normally this would not require DRB approval. However, the applicant is proposing to put a bulk propane refill station behind the existing store. Looked in the LDC, and this is defined as a gas pump, much like a gasoline pump would normally be, which requires conditional use approval in the district where this is located. So we'll need a separate approval for that. The second reason this is coming in front of the DRB, there are a small amount of improvements exterior to the retail space, which are labeled at the top of your staff report, including the aforementioned bulk propane tank, seasonal merchandise area outside the front of the storefront, reconfiguration of those parking spaces closest to the storefront to accommodate that seasonal merchandise, a striped designated pedestrian path leading from the store to the southern sidewalk on Pearl Street, and the addition of a shade tree outside of the store. We had minimal staff comments remaining. Summarizing, we're recommending approval with the proposed conditions at the bottom of the staff report, and feel like we've had good success working on this project thus far.
All right, Dan, I'm going to ask you to give us a quick overview. And while he's doing that, I just want to point out that the circulation path around the at the back of the store here is very strange, in that, you know, a lot of people trends, you know, not really a cut through, but people go back and forth through there, and it's very difficult to sort of tell where the appropriate driving lane is. So as we talk about the improvements of activity, loading docks, temporary or portable loading devices, trailers, and the propane thing, I just want to have somebody help us all understand how that fits with what is a very atypical existing circulation path, because it's not totally clear. I don't think it gets striped once in a while, and yet it kind of weaves its way around in there. So you're adding activity to that area, and I just want you to be aware of how that interface might be made as easy and clear as possible. Yeah.
I mean, let's be
Safety is,
it's a cut through. I mean, we can be honest.
well, there are things that actually exist
Wild
along the
West
back
back there.
there that don't exist on the front.
But there is no like it's a
Yeah.
it's cut through.
Yeah. Okay. Off you go.
All right. Do you want kind of a recap of everything in general?
Yeah. I think the fact that, you know, until we got the packets here, or saw maybe the banner draped over the front of the building there, I'm not sure people are aware of the of this proposed development. So it's fascinating and exciting for us, but you know, we're all ears. We don't understand it yet.
Yep. All right. Well, this is previously the Big Lots at 70 Pearl Street. Tractor Supply is looking to take over the space. It's for the most part an interior renovation project, not looking to expand kind of the shell of the building, working within kind of what's there now. Tractor Supply is proposing the introduction, besides the traditional interior sales and merchandise they would have on the inside, but on the exterior, we are proposing having the propane distribution, a trailer display area, and then at the front, what they call the kind of outdoor garden sales. It's typically seasonal items that are going to be changed on the sidewalk for outdoor display.
So we do have a Lowe's in the almost immediate area with, so we're kind of familiar with the stuff they put outdoors for sale, chained up and so forth. So I don't think that's, we're not unfamiliar with that, but there are improvements to the parking area that will give you more territory out there. So knowing what's parked out in front of your other Tractor Supply in Shelburne, maybe you could just give us a sense of the amount of, let's say, seasonal items that are out there, how big they are, what they might be, you know, what's too big, what's not too big, what's in back. Besides we're supposed to be doing the propane thing too, right? So that we're going to do the propane as a separate kind of motion because it's conditional use, and then, you know, we'll do the rest of it as one big motion. But the story is it's all there, right?
It would be helpful if I'm up.
We're welcome. Anything you want to do here to point or
just to help explain.
or assist, yeah. Normally we have
Does that
different
impact
monitors.
Sure can. All right, I think I'll start first with the outdoor sales. I think that was actually one of the first comments we got is with the outdoor sales, like I said, it's seasonal items. One of the things we always say is, might have lawnmowers, go-karts, things like that for the summer. And, wherever we're doing these, one of the things we always need to be mindful of is we cannot be, that sidewalk is access, right? So we need to be providing clearance for pedestrian access along the sidewalk. So really, that was what necessitated us. Right now it is a very narrow sidewalk, and so our proposal is to remove that current parking. That's essentially going to slide more into the parking lot. Then that gives us more space here. We'll always be maintaining that clearance of what we would need for accessibility for the sidewalk. Obviously, there's other tenants in this building, but the outdoor sales would be happening in that new sidewalk area.
And do you guys all get what's happening there? Because
It's
right
kind of
now
like-
it's a weird,
it's similar to
extra
your-
wide travel lane.
Okay.
And when they say they're going to make the sidewalk area bigger and push the parking out, what they're really connecting is the two conditions on either end of that, which in front of the bank for a lot, East
Yeah.
Rise, or it's already out there.
Yeah.
Right. So this is
So they're
going to
gonna bring it
straighten
out.
that out really
Okay.
and make it all the same.
And there is a demo plan. I don't know. I know this is a big, big set of drawings. It's probably,
Yeah.
it actually has kind of dashed in. Yeah, exactly.
It might take me a while to find it. But
Yeah.
It is on there. In your
It's
staff
similar
in
to
your
this,
staff report,
Like out there, this is there's
Yeah.
the word.
But it's not a weird thing in this particular parking lot because what it actually exists now right next to them, and they're just going to
They're gonna
Carry-
continue it from
continue the same line across. Yeah.
Might
So-
be,
in your staff report, I have a side-by-side photo of existing conditions and a proposal. If that's
Yeah.
helpful.
He does.
that's 1.0.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No problem.
Here's
Good
the,
looking out.
this is the demolition site plan, so it shows,
Yeah.
this is D 1.00. So here's the sidewalk and the parking next to them, and then it jumps back and is right next to the building.
Yeah,
What's
so you
in
can-
red.
in the condition now, this is a very wide drive aisle. It's much wider than would be needed. And there's a very narrow sidewalk, which, while it's just a sidewalk, that functions just fine. But again, we're looking to introduce these outdoor sales. And so the intention is to remove that parking, slide that down, and then this allows you to have a much larger sidewalk here where we could have those outdoor sales.
And then how does that affect the rest of the parking? Like if you move the parking lot down, I guess it just continues
Yeah,
that aisle.
and it's, I'm not sure what the reason
reduces
is,
the
but
drive aisle to a normal drive
Normal,
aisle
'cause
and,
it's too wide right
and
here.
not the
Yeah,
extra
yeah,
lane that it
yeah,
has now.
yep.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it'll be actually more typical when he's
Yeah.
done than it is now.
Because now people drive fast and yeah.
with a nicer sidewalk
Yeah.
and
Okay.
outdoor sales.
Yeah.
So,
Why,
go ahead.
why is the proposed sidewalk at an angle rather than being perpendicular? Or sorry, rather than being parallel to the building?
Can you, I'm sorry, look to the
The new plan,
new
Yeah.
plan. Sorry.
I think he's just connecting the two ends together, because when you get to the left-hand side, you see where the sidewalk is, the building juts out a little bit there and the sidewalk gets narrow
Okay.
again.
And I think actually there's a slight angle to the parking that we're relating to. So it's being somewhat driven by, I know it looks like that, but this is our consistent kind of
Okay.
parallel lines.
Okay, yeah, I see.
So actually, the sidewalk experience will be normalized. The drive lane experience will be almost normalized and never smaller than it's supposed to be. And they get more sidewalk,
Yeah.
like display sidewalk out. Yeah. Well, that's great. And there's some alignment with the access, the walking pedestrian access aisle going across the parking lot now, right? I see there's a little piece on the outside that, are you restriping
That would be
access aisle?
we would restripe to make a connection.
Yeah.
I think that's part of some of the requirements for the district is to kind of make that connection to the sidewalk.
To the outer sidewalk on the
Exactly.
road.
Yep.
Against the road. Okay.
Yeah, right now it's
Yeah.
not,
So you
there's not
can't-
an easy
No.
path by
You
any
could
means
be
go from
walking
the
down
sidewalk
and then go.
to get across. So
That's good.
So back to the new display area, what would be the biggest thing that would be parked out front there? Are you gonna park a combine out there or
no,
some kind of a?
so if you want to, if you could zoom out a little bit more. So there is in the back, we're proposing what's a trailer display area, which is this area back here. So what that would be bigger, that's kind of the biggest item that'd be out. And that's usually a flatbed trailer, 10-foot long. These aren't massive tractor trailers. Tractor supply, there's no farm equipment, like
You can
large
buy those at
combines.
Home Depot, by the way. They have a whole area in their parking lot where they have trailers for sale. Just in case you missed it. So it's not new. So generally we can say that the larger things will be in the back and
Yeah.
smaller things that
Like I
are
said, like,
fitting in your pickup truck or something.
Lawnmower, they will have go-karts. That's kind of probably one of the bigger items, but
Yeah.
yeah, and it's a lot of seasonal outdoors.
All right. While we're back there, do you want to focus in on the propane fill station? And I don't understand exactly the trailer. Is that a temporary trailer or a permanent trailer?
So sorry, and that I know this is just designating these were parking spaces. So those trailers that are for sale, they're simply
I
in
get
a
you.
parking space. That kind of pink box, that's just to designate, and we wouldn't be painting that. It would just be more, this is where we would be displaying the trailers,
trailers
and
for
that's
sale.
it.
Is it a
I
coincidence
misinterpreted
that there's
that.
a trailer there in the parking lot right now?
It is a coincidence, but
Is it? Okay.
yeah,
I mean,
no, I saw
like
that
a-
in some of these.
There's just
Like a job trailer, right?
yeah,
Or a
yeah.
trailer
And
for
so
a box.
I was like, oh, they already have the trailer.
Yeah, no,
But
just a coincidence. It's meant to be, I guess. That's where trailers are supposed to go. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so the propane. This is a propane fill station. Think propane for your gas grill that needs to be refilled. The station is set up. It's all self-serve.
Really?
It has a canopy over it. It's covered, and so you would simply drive. you drive in, and you would, if you had your propane tank, you can refill it for motorhomes. A lot of times, it's used for motorhomes as well. People can actually just refill directly into the propane tank that's in the motorhome. That's kind of what we base a lot of the spaces off of. So that's the use. I know it's a little bit hard to see. There are a variety of safety standards that are required. We have to meet both state level, OSHA requirements. But it's a row. It's a double row of bollards that exist to prevent any sort of collision.
where would the car be? Like, or if I drive my truck
Like,
up?
You can't get any closer than the bollard.
Yeah, but would I be supposed to be on the front, or would I drive up to the side next to it? Like, if your hands
Well,
were
it dep-
car,
it-
what's
it-
the
It would be, you would drive up here.
you know,
And
you
this
can't
would
get
be-
close to? Yeah.
Yeah, and this is, again, I know it's a little bit hard to see, but there's that double row
Yeah.
of bollards that is as close as you get with your vehicle to it.
Thank you.
I guess I'll say I'm familiar with these filling stations, but I've never seen one that's self-service. They seem to always have an attendant that does the filling. And so I'm sure if it's allowed to be somebody who, is just a person off the street with a empty cylinder, that's something that, who's regulating that? That's a national standard propane gas
For the most part,
filling
it's at
station standard or something,
It's at the state level.
the state level.
So do they pay for it at the, like, how do they,
Yes, yeah,
like, if it's self-serve, you go and there's like a payment system? Or
Yeah.
do you have to, or does the
Something.
store have to be open and you go in the store?
the store has to be open.
And then you go around back and you
Yeah.
do your thing?
Yeah, and actually, I don't know the exact mechanics of how
Yeah.
the payment piece
Yeah.
of that works, but yeah, no, I know because we've had these discussions with them that yeah, we have to be running, we are running some power there, both for the light, but also for just how the payment
So
process
it's not like
works.
someone could go there after hours
No.
and yeah. So you have to go into the store, say I want this. They flip some switch, then they go out and they self-serve. Okay.
Yeah, and there's an emergency shut off, but I mean, I think it's
Okay.
again, it's all kind of the standards.
Is the one in there's your store in Shelburne, do they have one of these already? Do you know?
I don't know the answer to that one. Sorry.
Okay. I mean, what they do at Agway is you go in, you buy it, they give you a little piece of paper. It's like going to the lumber store. You go out back, somebody will take care of you.
Yeah.
Right? You give them
Yeah.
your slip, they give you a 2x4 or a
Yeah.
sheet of plywood, or they fill your propane tank.
Yeah.
You know?
But
So-
this is the difference is
Well-
you're doing it yourself.
Well,
here,
you
once
know,
get
we'll see how that goes, but I think the point is the process safe, is the you know, the parking out of the way of the drive lane that's allegedly back there, that we can kind of see it highlighted in there. They've overlaid the truck access to the loading dock on top of that, so that, you know, you see a bunch of different lines in there. But I'm guessing that I highlighted mine in highlighter just to try and keep track of where I'm supposed to drive, because unless somebody's parked back there, it's just a free for all, right? So
And we did receive that comment from Michael. I think the one piece, you know, I think one of the things we can look at doing, which is not on the plans right now, but I think understanding what this concern is, not only for the propane, but I think the comment is very specific about, and just one other item right now is this, it's labeled number 16. That's a portable loading dock. This building doesn't have a traditional loading dock or a raised loading dock where they can just bring a semi trailer back up. So they have a portable loading dock. Truck goes, it parks, and then you can, you know, bring the items down and into the store because the store is at the same level as the alley. You know, I think what we could look at doing here is actually striping off the you know, we call it the driveway portion, but where the access is going through the back of this alley.
like the whole
And
thing.
that's, you know,
It-
obviously when the truck is going to get to the dock, it's going to have to utilize that. There's just no way around that. But when it's stationary and it's unloading, you know, we can have it so that it's outside of that. You know, I think, and was looking to propose a 20-foot wide clearance for that drive, which I got it from just the manual is kind of the narrowest.
I guess I would look to staff, and that could be something that you know, the engineering side or the DPW side gets involved. But this is a private parking lot that happens to have access through it that is randomly but not infrequently used by the public to get from one end of the building to the other and access the things that are on the back or just go out, right? So
Yep.
I'm gonna say that some management of the drive lanes and the driving through there it may just be a matter of you know, refreshing the striping and creating something that helps people understand where they're supposed to be, because now you have, you know, more things back there that people don't want to hit or
Yeah.
need clearance, and you want to
Absolutely.
make sure you have room, you know, there's room left for your own delivery trucks to get you know, to get in there and do your business, right? So I know there's been one other large parking lot in the vicinity that ended up being so overwhelmed with cut through traffic that they put Jersey barriers up to prevent it, and nobody could say no because it was their parking lot, right? So we're kind of looking to you guys to self-police that back there, to the extent that you're providing a convenience for your clientele and an operational necessity for your business. There may be some things to help smooth that. shared use out.
There's,
And that's the only thing I would also just mention is obviously we're working also within the restraints of a larger complex, and we only have control over the
Right.
short
This
portion.
may not even be you. This could be the owner,
Yeah.
the whole site owner has a little piece of this to
But-
allow.
I mean, I see no reason that we couldn't stripe that off. I mean, I think for the most part, that would be more for the Tractor Supply operations team to understand
Yeah.
where we need to stay within, right, and not go across. I mean, that might be from our side. That would be what we would be looking.
I mean, I think it
looking
would
to do.
improve the customer experience
Yeah.
if it looked and it was more user friendly back there. So that would be to Tractor Supply's benefit.
Mhm.
There's also another grocery store that's back there. There are some other businesses that have are open on behind, not on the front side, that you enter. There's a Asian market, and which would benefit from any enhancement I think you can do to the back of this, because it is used as a, it's open, it's part of the community. It's not, I don't see it as like really the back of something. I mean, it just could be improved for everybody. So I think, and it could be, if you're going to be wanting customers back there,
Yeah.
you want the whole thing to look better than it does.
And I mean, obviously, and that's just the balance I think
Yeah.
working because every store it needs a
Yeah.
backup house to a certain
Yeah.
extent, just from an
Yeah.
operational perspective. And I think,
Yeah.
like I said, I think based on the comments we received, I think if we can understand what that clearance needs to be, I think simply striping that off is what is our drive aisle that is back there.
there is currently a speed bump. I think it's past the red where the propane is.
Yeah.
Is that,
I think there's two actually.
I only noticed the one.
We have no plans to change.
Get rid of or,
No.
okay.
Yeah, I have some specific traffic concerns heading west and turning the corner toward the post office. There is no stop sign, and when you're exiting the post office, you cannot see whether or not a car is coming from that direction. And so that's like a hard stop for me, that there needs to be a hard stop for westbound traffic there.
Yeah.
That can't be a straight pass through.
And that's
It's the-
possibly outside the purview of
Yeah,
this
exactly.
Yeah.
of this store, but it's a relevant concern because the site plan is in play, if you will, right?
Well, and we've never had Big Lots. No one was going to the back of Big Lots, or we've never had a business that's big that the actual use of it is also in the back from a customer standpoint. So you'll have cars back there coming and going that you wouldn't have had before. Before it was just,
Yeah,
I
there's
wanna
more
bypass
business
that corner.
happening back there.
yeah.
I was looking for a lighting plan, just that might indicate, exterior lighting changes, if any, and I'm not, maybe I'm not seeing it right away.
And that is one item. We've engaged our electrical engineers
Yeah.
working on a photometric. Unfortunately, was not able to get it turned
So-
around in time. The proposal right now is that like I said, the propane has a metal canopy that goes over it that has it's a standard LED light. And that would be the only kind of proposed light we are at this point presenting. Obviously, once we get that photometric done, if we find there's deficiencies, we will address that. But currently, we are not looking to add any new other exterior lighting.
All right,
In the
because
back.
Our
that's the assumption that we have to make if you don't show us any, is that you're not planning to change anything.
And I would have some site concerns about that if I had a propane tank that I wanted to fill and it was self-service, I would think I could just do it at any time, the way that I can go to a gas station and fill up my car at any time. And then as I'm leaving, I'm going to be in a very dark parking lot where somebody could also be going to the post office thinking incorrectly that they can access their PO box after hours. So I can definitely see a scenario where there's more public access in the dark than there is now, where it like that it's effectively abandoned overnight.
Okay. And just to your previous comment about the stop sign, do you mind just clarifying which end of the?
Yeah,
Right hand, no, the right hand.
the top right end where the
Okay.
For the mouse is wiggling.
Yeah, there,
Yeah.
if you go another page, you might get the full site plan.
yeah.
That one's chopped off.
This
on
is the
end.
overall site plan. I don't think they have one that shows the parcel.
AS 1.00A.
The parking summary one.
Might take me a while.
Yeah, and it's tough because
You gotcha on that one. Okay.
because it's not particularly near to your store, but I think that without that stop sign, everybody who fills up their propane tank is going to almost run somebody over.
And also your delivery, your, what did you say, like 18-wheeler or whatever you're bringing in there, you're going to be coming in that by the post office. And will you be leaving that way, or are you leaving out South Street? Like when you have deliveries,
Yeah.
you're going to come off of Pearl Street, you're going to make that right by the post office, right? With an 18-wheeler, making a left. You're going to drop your stuff off. And where's
to come in this way?
or are you going to come in South Street, off of South Street? Just that.
Or off of
Seems
Summit.
Or is it South Summit? Is that what that
Yeah,
is?
yeah.
It's, or are you coming in South Summit?
Yeah, and it's coming essentially on that plan. You're
On the
coming
le-
from right to left. They go past the dock, and then they would back in.
Yeah.
That's why you see a lot of lines on there, and that's actually a software that tracks the movement. That's kind of the forward and backwards of the
So they're coming in from the left, going
coming in
in.
from the right, and they'll go past.
This one. See how he's coming in and the lines go up here.
And they'll go past the portable loading dock, and then they would back in. To leave, they can just go straight out. Which we're leaving towards the left of that drawing.
I know, but so they're coming. So if I'm the truck driver. I'm coming down Pearl Street, right, 15, and I'm making.
You've got two ways to go. And the one
Am I
on
making
the
a right at
east
the?
side is really tough to get around the corner where the big retaining
Yeah.
wall is. So they're probably going in where the post office square
Yeah.
and the post office are, right?
Yeah.
And
what
then
I'm
they're gonna
saying.
have to go around that same corner,
Yeah.
going the other way.
So that's
Yeah,
tight, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there are lots of ways to actually
Yeah.
get there, but
Yeah.
they'll figure it out.
Okay.
I think it bears mentioning, and this is just a matter of striping, that the sort of center parking in the top left, that you have the parking right next to the building, the parking right on the edge, but then in the middle there, that was a bunch of Burlington Telecom vans.
Mm-hmm.
When I was back there the other day, it was wholly unclear to me if I was supposed to go above them or below them.
Right. And it's
Which
still
way
unclear.
was the public right of way?
Well, then Bouchard Pierce parks their trucks.
I'm not sure there is the public right of way is my point. I think it's actually a parking lot and you just happen to be driving through it. and so that's where I'm going with this. I think the parking lot owner, not Tractor Supply and not the city, actually have to be aware of and identify potential conflicts back there and try and make improvements so that the Tractor Supply, the new tenant, has a safe and reasonable flow, expected signal. There's no signals, but some indications to the using public that what they're supposed to do. So your
and
point is well taken. You're not wrong. It's totally a free for all back there.
Yeah.
And we're saying help people out, or work with the landowner to help people out.
Yeah, because I really like the idea of having more retail uses back there. I think it'll be good for that grocery. I think it'll be good for the other stores that I drove past for the very first time on the east side of the building.
Yeah.
But then for the people coming, filling up their propane and then going around the east side of the building, you know, there's basically a T-junction in the parking lot where nobody has a stop sign. And you also cannot see one side of the T-junction.
Yeah.
And this is all super easy. Like, you just stripe a stop sign. Like a white
straight line.
line. Yeah, and then
Stop
people will
line.
know, hey, I'm the one who's supposed to stop here. But I think it's tricky because it's the parking lot owner. It's not Tractor Supply.
Exactly.
Michael, it might be like we put a pin in this, we talk about it later. But this kind of brought up this idea that in the parking, they're like, oh, there are 300 and X parking spaces, they're shared. But clearly they're like making those parking spaces work for them. Like you've got Burlington Telecom, which they have the building, they're renting there, taking up a bunch of them. You have Bouchard Pierce parking their trucks back there, and I'm assuming renting part of that parking lot. So you have, then the Asian market has some of their stuff too. So we're counting them as shared spaces to get past the number they need, but then there are kind of more businesses, it seems, taking a piece of that pie, and it just feels like there should be, like, I think they have enough parking spaces for this, so it's not a concern in that sense. I'm a little weary of them being able to say like, oh, we have more than enough, but then being like, we're letting this business that's not leasing here park their stuff here and take some of what we're claiming are shared spaces. It just feels
Okay, I have a
brought
recommended
up?
addition to the proposed conditions when we get to that. All right, what other questions do we have about Tractor Supply, the propane area, Tractor Supply itself, the front, the lighting, which I think is maybe missing a little bit of. What's our goal tonight, Michael? Is this conceptual, final? What do we have to do here?
Conceptual site plan approval is only required if development application is proposing 5 housing units or more. So this is, again, in front of you for design review and for the propane conditional use. That is it.
I do have an ingress question. If I'm back there, if I buy a trailer, am I going to walk through the back of the store to get to the trailer? And then vice versa, if I park in the back to fill up my propane tank, am I going to enter
Yeah.
in the back? Okay. And I think that is cool. I think that like making that a more public,
Activate the.
yeah. It's just that part of that is that there's going to need to be instructions to the public for who stops when.
For the vehicle circulation
Yeah.
and pedestrian circulation at the rear.
Yeah, especially if there are more pedestrians, because I would be shocked to see a pedestrian back there, and
And actually, that's a good point. Like, there's like, I know that there's a sidewalk that kind of stops at the corner when you get off of the post office. Like, there isn't any, like, you can't really walk back there and feel like are you in the road or you're not? Like, could there be like or maybe there will be some sort of sidewalk outside there.
In the, like along the
Yeah.
alley?
Yeah.
No, because again, I think Tractor Supply is more working through the space.
Okay.
We have parking in back and then parking in front, but your customers, they're going through the space. That's how they kind of go from
Yeah.
top to bottom. So.
That's
Yeah,
another.
I think staff is gonna
Yeah.
direct them to go pull their car around
Yeah.
if they happen to be out
Yeah.
front or something. Like
Yeah.
people that might get to know what they're doing might
Yeah.
start back there. All right. Anything else to address? Any questions about staff comments?
There was a comment just regarding what the proposed shade tree was. we were looking to do, this is for the amenity area up front. One other item I just wanted to note that you said we're proposing a tree, which is correct. There's a bench as well. It's a bench and a tree being proposed for that amenity area. The tree with American hornbeam in the planting area. It's a Vermont native plant.
Is it on our list, Michael?
I'll have to check.
We have a whole tree committee and a whole tree.
I wondered if they've reached out.
We have all kinds of stuff that will assist with selection, care, maintenance, and installation of the appropriate tree. So we often defer to them. My question is, how come only one? I got this massive parking lot. I've got one tree, like the lone something, parked
green.
right in front of my front door. And I'm going, is there a balance to anything here? Do I this isn't really your tree. It's still the parking lot owner has, like, what's the big picture on one tree? Like, are there any other trees in the parking lot? I'm saying no. You have to go out to the street line to get, trees. So, is the one tree and the bench, like, okay, I'm waiting for somebody. They told me they'd meet me at the store. So now I have a bench and a tree to sit by, while I'm waiting for them. And what are we doing with one tree?
So this is in the design review overlay districts. With that, there are some site plan requirements, specifically site features to promote walkability and bikeability. And so this was the applicant's submission: the bench, the tree, the striped pathway to the sidewalk to meet those requirements.
Remember, it was for that exact requirement. We are also adding in the larger sidewalk area, bike rack as well, is to meet that.
Yeah. And we're sensitive to the fact that a single tenant entering an existing, strip mall shouldn't be required to do a whole bunch of stuff just because they were changing tenants. It's not really like, if we got something to say to the larger property owner, we should say it to them. And, the one tree feels like it's a great idea, the connection piece, the promoting the pedestrians and walkability and accessibility and giving them an amenity of a hopefully shady place there is great. I'm hoping that we think bigger if we have an opportunity to really make that parking lot much more in keeping with what parking lot requirements are now. This may not be the trigger that, if I'm going to redo my whole mall, okay, great. Now we got to do something. But for this one, I think it's admirable as a gesture. It will provide the hope for improvements in at least pedestrian friendly, appearance. So appreciate that. But I just felt the one tree.
Yep. It reminds me of recent hearing that this board had for 34 Park Street, which was largely an interior renovation to add apartments. Yeah. And we had a lot of discussion over what's appropriate for landscaping requirements for an almost entirely interior renovation. And I like the term you used to right size or prorate the landscaping plan to be appropriate for what's being done.
Okay. Anybody else have more comments? I had a few technical comments for the architect that may or may not help, but I don't have any real questions about the way it looks, or it's not really changing that much. It's gonna get a new sign. And are we painting things on the facade outside?
Yeah, there'll be that
brown. You got your tractor
supply
color.
red color. There's a red band that gets painted across.
Yep. So there was rendered elevations, if you just in case you want to see what we would love to get instead of what we got in the last application. Really tells the story of the brown block. I mean, I'm just reading that. Is it brown now? Is that being? Are we attempting to change colors of something here, or are we like the roof isn't really. Is it grayish now? I want to say it's green, but maybe I just forgot. Yeah. I mean, you're not changing the color of the roof.
No.
You're adding the red band,
The red band
and then the backside, you're not adjusting the color of the existing material. You're just the rendering shows it probably better than it is right now. So, all right. So my questions on the front. There's some codes that the energy code that's referenced is the International Energy Conservation Code in Vermont. We have our own lovely little overlay called CBs, the Commercial Building Energy Standards. It will apply to new equipment only on an existing project, so it may not apply to you at all, but you just may want to reference that it exists as our own Vermont thing. And the state and federal codes don't actually call out the Vermont, the ADA or the Vermont access rules for accessibility. However, the drawing set is based on ADA, so I think you're fine already anyway. And the last question I had for you was on the front doors, which are drawn to open into the store, which is a flagrant life safety violation. They probably exist that way. And the code notes that you have on your code plan even have a note saying that they have to open out, but they're still being shown as opening in. So I was wondering if you were taking this opportunity to fix that.
Yeah, and that may be I'll have to look at that. But yes, that obviously the doors need to be swinging out, and if they're sliding doors, they need to break way to the out.
They're
Sometimes
just graphic. Like, I can't say I've been in the. I don't know if I was ever in Big Lots, maybe once.
I thought these looked like the
Well, it's hard to tell what
automatic opening.
they
door.
could be, but they're showing that they appear to show that they're either opening in or they break away in, which I don't think is how that normally wants to be. So
No.
maybe just confirm that they actually
if
do the right
that's
thing.
how it's drawn out, that would be correct. They will be, I guess, for life safety, they need to be swinging out, or breaking away through outside in the path of travel.
Yeah, good. So I got the tree thing out of the way. Got the technical details.
I have two bathroom questions, which
It's
might
not
wind
really
up being
not really in our purview, but go ahead.
the first being are you just renovating an existing bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the follow-up being sort of philosophical, that there are so many single person bathrooms in Vermont, and I'm from a land where there are no single person bathrooms, and single person bathrooms are, I think, a lot more pleasant. Is there a building code that
No.
is causing that in Vermont?
If you have bathrooms that don't currently comply with accessibility requirements, you are allowed to add one that is compliant, and that's often a new one rather than trying to renovate your existing ones, because you may end up losing a fixture or something in order to do that. So commonly you would add them, and then there's so many people that are totally frustrated with the new or modified or changing or evolving signage requirements, like who gets to use them, that they gave up and just made all the single ones.
Okay.
So it's you often see what we would traditionally call a male and a female bathroom, and possibly a family or a unisex, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a more common offering from some of the larger chains. I don't know, like, it's just a convenience for your customers. It's not really the goal of the.
To your point about the renovations, when the plumbing count is short, a lot of times it is easier just to have that single restroom.
Yeah. So I don't know what you've got what appear to be two gang bathrooms now, and I'm sure they're sufficient and possibly even fully compliant. So there'd be no rule that says they have to have a single, but they are preferred by many people. So if they're trying to be nice, they may end up with one of those. baby changing stations, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Why are we talking about this?
In the men's and
Professional
women's?
curiosity.
I didn't
Um,
even know the other big lots had restrooms, did they?
Most of those big stores
Yeah,
have
I didn't know
have
that.
bathrooms.
Didn't know that was an option.
Did the
Um,
tree advisory commission weigh in?
No, which is why we had the staff comment in your staff report about the tree in particular. The shade tree was presented in their most recent response set, and we did not have a chance to provide comment on that in time for the hearing. So we were interested in seeing, do you have a Silvacell to
I was
support
about to ask
the
Silvacell.
yeah, we're interested in seeing how are we going to keep this tree alive, as it's a part of site plan approval. Want to make sure it lives a healthy, happy life. So we have a condition of approval to clarify that planting methods, and we'll work with the tree advisory committee to make sure that it meets our standards.
awesome.
They love a Silvacell.
Any other questions regarding the exterior or site?
One of the connect the junction ideas, because I don't think that's been adopted
Not yet.
was about activating the front portion of that parking lot that fronts on Pearl Street. Part of this is just to make sure that you are aware that that is a thing that people have been talking about doing.
It's pretty active in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. The outer parking row is off the farthest from the stores.
Yeah.
And it's often used in the evenings by specialty groups.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, we see like people who have worked on their car and made them fancy or something, and they'll agree. Oh, we're gonna meet there Tuesday night, whatever, and they park, and they get their chairs out and they sit under the shade trees there and they hang out and everybody checks. It's like a little a car mart there. So
Every Wednesday.
every Wednesday, all right. So
I was like, you got it.
yeah.
The city council meetings.
Yeah.
And I see them every time.
Yeah. So it does get used. There are things that happen out there that appear to have been completely organically introduced and agreed upon by the members. They don't seem to mind because it attracts people to the shopping center as a whole. So it does have a pretty interesting little number of groups that are out there.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, they've had trouble with there was a whole argument over whether you're allowed to have sandwich boards out there, and the answer in theory is no. But if you put the sandwich board back with the sidewalk by the store, because it's supposed to be within so many feet of your store entrance, it's so far back now. You're that it doesn't get the street recognition. So that's been an ongoing thing that the planning commission and the Public Works, every once in a while they'll drive by and take all the signs, and people have to go get them back, and it's just a little awkward because while you want the activity there, maybe something will change with the promotion of activity along the street. Look into what's allowed out there if you're on the connected junction thing. Right, so you want some street activity. We've got some. I'm sure this has nothing to do with Tractor Supply unless you're starting to park your stuff out there, which is a no-no as far as I understand it. You guys get the sidewalk by the store. I fully support the sidewalk improvements and changes that are being proposed here. I think that will greatly assist the concept of the storefront as the place where that happens. And maybe more people will start to follow your lead when Tractor Supply does their thing there. And we'll be able to figure out what we want to have happen along the street edge. Yeah. Other than just the impromptu gatherings. So.
Well, and I think my point was kind of the more that your public infrastructure can engage people who are parked on the opposite side to make it feel like a singular concrete ocean, But you know, I think that could really help. I don't know, bring the use of the building more in line with what the community is hoping for.
To your point, Luke, I have a couple of paragraphs under section 608 in my staff report. I'll preface this by saying not directly relevant to this application, but the intention of this district is to have a building design with 20-foot maximum setback, parking oriented around the rear. It's written specifying that the existing building, even though it's considered non-conforming, is allowed to grow until it's 30% larger than it was when that ordinance was adopted in 2007. So if businesses or the property owner continue to grow that building, there will come a point in time where we, the city, have to say, no, you need to reconfigure this so that it's a fully pedestrian oriented Pearl Street facing redevelopment.
I appreciate you bringing that up because I was going to ask you to help me understand the portion about increasing its nonconformity. And if that's what you're addressing, I mean, I don't see it being the sidewalk improvements. I don't see the rear improvements. Is the footprint getting any bigger? Did they do
technically
that?
speaking by a small amount when it comes to the extension of the sidewalk, the propane refill station, but not by increase of lot coverage. It comes down to how you would interpret the word expansion. It's equipment that is maintained by Tractor Supply Company, so it was counted with their square footage, but it is by no means like a traditional expansion of the building envelope. So
Yeah, because I think to be compliant with the new TOD requirements, you'd have to take the whole building and move it toward the street.
correct.
Yeah.
Which
Isn't happening, and it's not your problem. So,
yep.
any further questions? Dylan, you got anything for us?
Nope. I think I'm all set.
All right. Any further comments from staff?
Don't believe so. Appreciate the clarifications on outstanding staff comments. For the board, I've got 5 proposed conditions to consider, and appreciate the comments on traffic circulation. That was our biggest concern when it comes to the lack of a photometric lighting plan, given that the back of the store is not currently like a customer retail engagement space for this tenant. We're excited to see what that plan looks like and come to a conclusion to make sure that it's safe for people using that space and for the other business tenants.
All right.
I'll just.
We need 2 motions, don't
Can I
you?
just add one more comment?
You may.
Oh, just with the lighting, because when we get to winter time, your store is going to be open, and it's going to be dark. So it will be pretty dark back there.
Yep, and that's our hope, is
Yeah.
that we're going to be able to see what their proposed lighting plan is, make sure that our city engineer looks at it, and come to, again,
Yeah.
a conclusion, since we have standards in the land development code as to parking lot lighting minimum levels. So.
Is there any ability, like it's not appropriate to this application, but in terms of the owner of a parking lot being like, there needs to be a actual flow because it's not safe if you're trying to kind of bring more business to the back? Like, is there any?
Yeah, to your comment earlier about, so if I'm understanding correctly, and I may not understand the full, you're saying that there are tenants that aren't in the shopping center that are parking large vehicles in what should be customer parking spaces?
It had been relayed to me that the Bouchard Pierce, which is
On
On-
Pearl Street.
Yeah, not
They-
in that shopping
right,
center.
they park
Large
their delivery
vehicles.
trucks behind. So if you, like, I took pictures of
Yeah.
it. It's Bouchard Pierce, then the Burlington Telecom, right by the Asian market, and then this.
So they might be renting
They
spaces.
might be renting.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think there's probably a deal or something,
Right.
but just kind of like the concerns with cars using that as a cut through, people driving fast, there being no lines, and then I don't have issues with this proposal, but kind of how that all ties together and the responsibility on the owner of the building.
Yep. Yeah, to your point, yeah, it's an enforcement piece that I think the property owner and the city both have a vested interest in making sure that it's safe and accessible for customers. This is news to me in terms of how the lot is currently being used. So I'll make sure I let staff know and see what we can do about it.
Okay.
Maybe a little conversation with the building owner just to
Yeah,
make
that's-
sure you're on the same page.
That's where it'll eventually go. So we'll start by gathering some information. If you have pictures, that might be helpful. Sure.
All right. Anything further? I propose we close the. Did we have a public hearing, or is it just a? It's a.
It is
It was a
technically,
public
yes. Yep.
hearing, so I think we want to close the public hearing and consider a motion. All in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion. I need to do the conditional one first. That's a whole separate. Anybody got that one right in front of them? It's a whole separate piece of paper on that one. Yeah, for the conditional. Well, he's got them both together. So
Yeah, I
two
think it's all
separate ones.
together. It's all
All
together.
right, so I'll take motion number one first.
So make a motion. I move that the DRB approve the conditional use application for the addition of an exterior propane gas pump for Tractor Supply Company at 70 Pearl Street in the Transit Oriented Development District by Kathy West and Brandon Kubik on behalf of Handy's Hotel and Rentals LLC on the condition. Wait. The conditions.
Conditions are for site plan approval. This is
Thank
just
you.
for
So
the
this
gas
is
pump.
just that.
Correct.
Um,
Can I get a second?
I,
I second
okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's good. So now we're into further discussion, and I don't know, is it appropriate to add a condition of operational? Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here on the gas pump detailing, on who's approving it, what the rules are. There's the vendor filling the local distribution station can't do it until fire chiefs and other people sign off if required. So I'm not sure that whole chain of command is really, I just want to make sure that our fire chief knows and that the state and federal regulations related to the whole thing are being followed.
That's noted in your staff
That's
report.
noted
The,
in
fi-
your staff
the, the
report.
fire department commented on this, looked at the specifications, and did not
They're
see.
okay. All right, so I don't need to make a motion because it's already in there. So any other discussion on the motion to approve the conditional use application for the propane gas pump?
To the degree that this is the same as a gasoline pump, would our conditions about safety of use apply to somebody who hypothetically wanted to put a gas pump behind the building there? Would they be able to, since we approved this without condition, would they?
No, they would still have to come in
Okay.
before us for every individual instance of a request to get a conditional use. We have to evaluate that specific request.
Motions for propane too,
Yeah.
right?
Right. This is a propane gas pump, so they're not gonna show up next week with a gas pump.
Yeah.
There has to be a propane tank. All
It's,
right.
it's also like the technical specifications for the propane gas pump are in their site plan. So the first motion of conditional use is granting them the ability to use gas pump as a land use. Then the second motion in your packet is the technical detailing as presented in the
Okay.
packet.
Then that satisfies me.
All right, so I think we should vote on the conditional use application separately from the rest of it. So, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. So I think the second recommended motion brings with it all the proposed conditions, which includes approval of the plans and so on. But we're not technical experts on all of the technical detailing, so I'm just pointing out that there are others involved in the actual approval and permitted functionality that haven't weighed in yet that we'll have to based on what I read here. So we're relying on their expertise to make sure that they follow the national requirements and state requirements. All right, so I'll take the second motion. Anybody?
All right. I move that the DRB approve the site plan application for Tractor Supply Company at 70 Pearl Street in the TOD district by Kathy West and Brandon Kubik on behalf of Handy's Hotels and Rentals LLC with conditions as discussed. So as outlined, can I make a change to number 4 to be applicant shall provide clarification on infrastructure and planting methods used to support the proposed shade trees well-being and consult with the tree advisory board?
Yes. And I believe that we have, I have a modification to number 2, which is, applicant shall provide clarification on how vehicular access in the rear of the building will be managed when a truck is parked at the portable loading ramp. I'm adding, a comma, the propane tank area is in use. And, how other drive and travel ways are to be used by the public. Right, so that brings all those pieces together that we talked about, and they're welcome to work with staff on that. Number 3 was applicant shall revise submitted lighting plans to meet the requirements of section 704 of the LDC to the satisfaction of city staff. And I'm guessing that means that you need to see some plan with photometrics and you'll take care of approving things from there. Number 4 we already talked about, and number 5 was applicant shall submit a sewer allocation request form and pay all applicable sewer allocation fees prior to the issuance of a zoning permit. I'm a little interested in that one, in that unless the applicant's modifying the plumbing, there shouldn't be any changes to the existing buildings permitted.
One of the pet washing stations.
Pet washing
already?
stations
washing
are
station,
regulated
okay.
at the state level with a higher gallons per day allocation.
So they need to modify their current application in order, or their current allocation in order to put the pet wash in.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, so that's fine then. All right, anybody else with a condition that we haven't commented on yet? Further discussion or comment? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Did someone need to second it?
I thought we wouldn't be talking about it unless one of you guys seconded it. Did we get?
I don't remember.
You're welcome to do it again if you'd like.
Oh, what?
I don't know if someone seconded
I thought
it.
someone could just second it now,
I
second.
and then we vote again, or do we have to go?
yeah.
All in favor of the motion as made and seconded with amendments, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sorry, roll.
Thank you,
No,
Dan.
that's good.
Appreciate the presentation.
Thank you.
When do you plan to open? Or do you know that detail?
I do, and I don't have that right off the top of my head, but I know that they've laid out kind of preliminary construction
Oh,
schedule.
there's a timeline in here somewhere.
So, and I know that
I could have sworn I saw a timeline.
for the interior work, that permit was coming from the state.
Well, maybe not.
I was
Yep.
for you later,
Yep.
so that we've received that work for the interior permit. So that's kind of
Thing,
the big
you know.
push is to get that.
A little
That's
overkill.
rude, because there are so many drawings.
in a few months.
Yeah, this is,
It'll be pretty quick.
so this is store number 3,182. We've done this a few times. So the generic pages probably.
Did I read also that there's will we be reviewing the sign or no? Is that a separate thing? Or
That's done
it's gonna be
separately.
separately.
Yeah,
So will
that's
we see
correct.
that, or are we gonna see that or no? That's not.
No, so signs have exemption They can be added by the applicant as a part of their design review package, but the LDC specifies that signs are separate from that application. Yep.
We're not gonna review that. It's gonna be are we gonna review that at another time or no?
The sign?
Yeah,
No.
no. Okay.
That is administratively approved. Yep.
Show the attendance.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Other development review board items. There was a status update on the Spark Hotel.
Yes. So we've had.
I think.
Yeah.
I
Thank
think
you so much,
have to
Dan.
go out
You're going to want to go
Yeah.
out this way to the left.
Thanks, Todd.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, so I put together kind of a debrief on the Spark Hotel opening now that it is open. We can go as deep on this as you'd like, since I know the board has been interested in this project through construction all the way back to approval in 2018. So I can start with the memorandum, which is written from a what went well and learning lessons perspective, if that would be helpful, and go through the timeline of the approval process for the Spark Hotel. I'd be really interested in hearing from the board concerns so that we understand how to control projects like this in the future if there are visual concerns. So what went well? The city ended up having a hotel, which has been a long-standing goal to support Pearl Street's vitality, especially near the CBE. Heard, comments on the aesthetics of the building, but I think the final appearance was generally more favorable than expected in terms of overall comments that I've heard. City staff has been able to maintain a respectful working relationship with the developer through this process, despite a lot of the back and forth. So we're able to continue to collaborate with them. One thing that I loved doing was, prior to getting a certificate of occupancy walkthrough where everything's final, everything's built, Chris and I did a proactive pre-CO walkthrough that helped us identify and address, are the number of rooms that you were approved for being built? Are there any other outstanding issues while the construction team was still on site? And we hope to do more of that for large projects in the future. There was an extra curb cut that was closed, presented some drainage issues in pooling for public works. So we got that regraded with a new curb put in right in front of the Good Stuff building. And then there were a couple elements that were not originally required as a part of site plan approval in 2018, namely fencing, opaque fencing to the surrounding property and bike parking. And we're able to work with the applicant to get those added after approval. So areas for improvement. The original approved plan lacked structural realism. The ground level parking did not require access stairways or supporting columns, which ultimately altered how many parking spaces were possible. You can't have a parking space where a concrete column is. Should have been caught during technical review during the original approval process. There was an incomplete implementation of changes to the west side of the lot. Site plan modifications to the Dollar Tree lot were not implemented. As a result, landscaping from the approved plan could not be installed, leaving the site non-compliant with initial approvals. The approved site plan did not include snow storage areas, an omission that created long-term management issues when Public Works looked at these plans. Bike rack, as we mentioned, but we got that addressed. Parcel configuration issues. The site plan, as approved, treated 3 parcels as a single lot, despite no formal lot consolidation. The plan was approved with a property line drawn running through the hotel footprint. This oversight was later corrected through a footprint lot survey submitted by the developer, so they have since amended that. And then the stormwater infrastructure design surrounding the hotel changed throughout the development review process. This is something that typically the applicant is able to do, but it led to misunderstanding of what was going to be built. The plan set approved by the Planning Commission included an area as a proposed rain garden in front of the building, and then this was eventually converted into a dry swale. We had some administrative and communication challenges. Multiple plan revisions occurred, but the community development did not consistently keep this updated electronic copy. leading to misalignment between city staff and our contracted city engineer. There were changes to the sewer allocation for the hotel. They originally submitted the hotel to be defined by number of rooms rather than number of suites, which meant that we had to reissue the zoning permit. The sign permit interpretation regarding wall signs led to the Spark Hotel sign being placed above the second story, causing issues with signage approvals. And then one that's come up in recent days since the hotel has opened is that the approved site plan assumed shared parking among the Dollar Tree, the hotel, and the Good Stuff building. Recent Google reviews and anecdotal evidence suggests that the business's operational practices around shared parking may still be in flux. So staff are going to continue to monitor that situation and intervene if necessary, since I feel like there, again, is a vested interest in making sure that they're able to operate parking from a reasonable operational standpoint. So lessons learned from this overall, we have since strengthened our site plan technical review for projects of this size in close collaboration with other city departments. We've formalized parcel consolidation requirements. We do not approve plans that assume lot consolidation without recorded lot merges or footprint lots. We've got strict protocol for archiving plan revisions, both digitally and in hard copy. Clarified interpretations of key land development code provisions in terms of when site plans expire, providing written guidance on that. Post-approval site plan requirements, requiring that the DRB's conditions of approval are integrated into site plans prior to the issuance of a zoning permit, and improving the public communication process about permitted uses. This one was most relevant when the Good Stuff building, which was originally proposed to be a restaurant, ended up instead being converted into a retail space, the Good Stuff store, which disappointed public expectations for those who were hoping for a restaurant to serve the hotel. While retail was permitted by right, that was the applicant's right to do so, greater upfront communication could have helped manage public expectations. So I have plenty of, I have the full permitting timeline since 2018. I'd be happy to field questions or pull up old plan documents if that would be helpful, but we'll turn it back to you all for questions.
Well, I'm probably the only person who goes back to that approval. And I can say that there was a real effort to support a hotel moving into that location. It'd been a goal of the village/city for many years, and it appeared to be happening. We were presented with the site plan and a lot of statements about what was going to happen, and then here's a brochure from the hotel chain we're working with and pictures and so on, and the restaurant that's going to serve the hotel, and the project got approved. We had no design review at the time, so just really the footprint and the description of what it was going to be, and that's all we got to say about it. And then the first building got built that wasn't a restaurant and wasn't really what anybody thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. So that I still want to see the drawings again, because I don't. And anyway, again, we didn't have any drawings other than a footprint, because it wasn't required in that district. Yeah. So that was the major push to go back and say, okay, that level of understanding and communication and follow through left us with this result, so we need to fix that. And so hence the strong push in the planning commission to get design control over the key major arteries of the city. So in a way that it led to a strengthening of how do we know what we're gonna get, because the building that's there now bears only a minor resemblance to the one that was shown.
Yep.
And the building itself doesn't, but the organization of it does. So there was parking. There were no drawings of anything else, so there's no structure. There wasn't real. They hadn't made a deal with the people who were going to actually run the hotel. And hotel chains, they kind of lose interest and move on, and somebody else comes in, and that might go back and forth 3 or 4 times before somebody actually gets a deal that holds up and the building's built and they move in, right? So
Yep.
so that process, especially in the hotel business, turns out to be very fluid. And I'm sure that the developer had multiple working dealings with people before we finally got to Spark. But the organization where there's the front piece and a associated restaurant, even says so on their takeout restaurant. And then the covered parking is consistent with what was approved for the plan. The details and how all the various existing and new uses on site we're going to share was a big piece of the, and we encourage the sharing because you don't want to overbuild parking. You want to let it do all the work you want it to do without making them build more parking. So shared parking is actually a good thing. But if they're not actually sharing the parking, that could be an issue for the overall site.
Yep.
So I'm still a little frustrated with many aspects of this, but and I really appreciate that the city has gone through and tried to say, okay, how did this all happen, and what did we do well, and what did we need to keep working on, is a great project for that.
Yeah.
Because I think ultimately where it will be well served by that study, and hopefully at some point somebody will decide that we need the restaurant there for the hotel, and right. And I did get a tour of the hotel, by the way. I've been inside. I've gotten to see everything, and it's very crisp, very clean, very nicely done. It has a little, what do they call it? A continental breakfast kind of buffet area. But no real food, it doesn't serve food in the traditional way. So the fact that you might have been able to go next door to a restaurant would have been really nice. There are other options up and down the street, of course. But I think the big lesson for me is you need to be sure what you're approving when it gets approved, because if you don't have enough communication in place that says this is what we're doing, and some drawings that say this is what it's going to look like, you won't get it. You may not get it. And that's why I was a little sensitive on our first application tonight, because I've seen this go sideways in ways that you can't control, because I've got a cartoon drawing instead of a real drawing. Right? Like there's no other drawings than this, that those 2 boxes and that's doesn't tell you what it really looks like. But they hold up a nice brochure from another version of the hotel that was built somewhere else, and you go, oh, that's going to be here. That looks pretty nice. I like that, and then they don't build that because they don't actually have to, as long as the footprint's the same. So lessons learned, great idea.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
So can I ask a question? What does it say on the little area between the 2 buildings? What does it say on the plan?
New concrete sidewalk.
Oh, okay, because that's not what's there.
No.
There's like grass. I mean, so bothers
No,
me.
and the other part of this that really bothers me is that there's no front door on the
on that second building.
on the second building.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a front door facing the road on either building, and that's that's really
so
rough.
I know that you said it's their right, the landowner, developer's right to change the use, but is there any repercussions that the city can take on, like, not, I don't know, and just
It's kind of, so it's and that's why I'm coming to you all to understand. It sounds like this restaurant was highly desired as a part of this project's site plan approval. So they come in for this site plan, which has these proposed takeout restaurant. But then when they come in and apply for a zoning permit, so actually to build the structure, they did that in phases, and they did the retail building first. So yeah, it's the repercussion side of things. Ideally, you've got your conditions of approval for the site plan locked in to get this consistent final form that you all know what to expect as a final results would be, I guess, one way to approach it.
Yeah, because that second building, I think in those plans was like, it's like they go together, and now they don't go together.
Yep.
But initially they were presented as going together.
Yep. So yeah, the conversion from restaurant to retail was obviously before my time. This was 2020 when that took place. I know the pandemic and economic factors influenced what tenant they were able to fill in that space. But this was the application that was submitted, where you can see proposed new 3,000 square foot retail building. So again, that is the property owner's right to say, this is already permitted for retail, so I'm going to continue to use it as retail.
So that's interesting because it even has a door on the front of the building and an access point straight to it, which is that usable now, or doesn't everything happen in the back?
The back, as far as I am aware, yeah.
Yeah,
And there's
so-
that door into the hotel. Is that actually there?
This is not for the hotel. This permitting set was specifically when the restaurant building was proposed
Okay.
to turn into a retail building by the developer.
It looks like
It's
a emergency egress off
yeah.
the upper level because there's parking
yeah,
there.
it's unfortunate that they didn't continue with the sidewalk, because then it would just make it seem like a nice way to go around versus driving around. Yeah, because then it's just grass. It's like this weird no man's space.
Right. I think that eventually became part of the landscaping plan and stormwater plan. You can see here on this landscaping set that was most recently updated in 2024 that they eventually turned part of that into a into stormwater infrastructure of some sort. But the sidewalk being a key piece of this. I agree with you.
Yeah. But that was a good synopsis of the whole.
Yeah.
And if you don't remember what was there beforehand, this the main building on the left, the dollar store, was a car dealership, and that was just all car parking.
I remember
Yeah, with a
don't.
huge flag, but
I've
that
been
was
here. Almost as long as you have.
yeah. So anyway, we can do better, and we can hold out for projects that are more connected to what we want them to be, and the sidewalk and the street activity and so forth.
Yep. And a good reminder how important this job is, making sure when we go through these approvals, we've got a consistent final product that you all can expect.
Anything else?
We're close to time. I have a couple general city updates. Connect the Junction, we've got comment period on the drafted master plan open. Please go online to connectthejunction.org if you haven't already. Even if your thoughts are, this plan looks great, thumbs up, leave one of those. The consultant's really looking for feedback before we bring this to City Council. Pearl Street, we have been doing some engagement for recently. We're working with Stantec, an engineering consultant, to look at the west side of Pearl Street, so stretching from Susie Wilson to West Street Extension, recognizing there's a lack of multimodal facilities, both bus stops on the south side of Pearl Street, as well as the fact that the shared use path that leads to St. Michael's College ends abruptly when you enter the city. So Stantec is looking at the scoping study done in 2018. They've presented a 2025 alternative that was presented at the Planning Commission's August meeting. They were asked specifically to work within a budget of $1.2 million, as that is currently allocated to build something there. So it's within that available budget. This plan is being revisited by the Planning Commission at their upcoming September 4th meeting before the consultant makes a final recommendation. If you'd like to give comments on that plan, you can get them to Chris Ewan, Community Development Director, and he'll be sure to get them to the consultants. And plans should be viewable on the Community Development page on the city's website. Amtrak, in the same spot on Community Development's website, we have some materials available to view. We're starting with an online survey asking participants to say, outside of the canopy shelter, what site improvements do you think should be prioritized the most? Meant to give the consultants an understanding of where the budget should be focused for this project. We're going to have the consultant present a public open house during the Planning Commission's upcoming September 4th meeting, packed agenda. It'll include a drafted site plan and architectural elevations for the train station as proposed. We'll be continuing to do engagement for that through October, so plenty of time to give feedback on the train station.
I stopped in this week to the new city offices which they were moving into and asked Chris about those materials, and they weren't available on the website yet, but will they be available before the meeting, or are they sort of going to go live after the meeting?
They're live as of yesterday
Oh,
afternoon. Yep, so they just got posted.
Good, I'll go take a look. Thank you.
Um,
And just on the, is 2 Lincoln Hall open to the public now?
It is. Yep, today was our first day. Went super well. I
Did
love
it?
my new office. Nice southern light. Yeah,
Nice.
exposed brick. It looks great. Very, very like, just very organized and just clean. Looks great. I've been really happy. I don't know. The moving process went super quickly. We moved most of our stuff within a couple of hours and then sort of settled in. So it's been great.
That's great.
We're especially eager to share the new main lobby, which now I hope everyone will notice is extends from the arch that you can see on the front of the building facing Five Corners and Lincoln Street through the entire building to the entrance that we come into on the back,
Nice.
and all of the clerk and planning desks are right there. So it's a big step forward towards presenting, a wonderful public space to the public instead of dragging them all the way back into the, anyway.
Early for the next meeting for a tour.
Yeah. So, so we're hoping that it worked out great for everybody, and the staff has been very patient as construction took longer than expected and so on. But
I'll miss my senior center
it's
cubicle.
it's open.
And what happens with the senior center? Do
They're
they-
going back.
They
and
get to go back. They must be happy.
I think I've heard mixed reviews. They actually really liked the Holy Family Church. It was a space that really served them well.
Well,
So I
it
think there's some mixed feelings on it.
It is
but
a nice space.
yeah.
the Holy
A
Family.
nice space.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Awesome. Any other? How about the pocket park? Where do we?
I have not seen revised materials on that. Chris is working with the landscape architect on getting lighting fixed.
And I heard a rumor that there were some planned activities on Main Street on 4 successive Saturdays or something that would.
Already got posted.
It was in the. It was in.
Is that part of Connected Junction?
It is
Which
not, no. So this was picked up by news media before we were able to really discuss it at length. This is being run by EJRP, actually. They're calling it Meet Me on Main. So starting September 20th and running 4 consecutive Saturdays, a small portion of Main Street is to be closed to vehicle traffic as a way to have some community events. I don't know the full details of what EJRP has planned for programming, but because media picked this up before we were able to discuss it, the assumption was that this was part of Connect the Junction, or that this was testing future roadway closures, which it is not. Completely separate. This was brought forward by EJRP and is not connected to any potential roadway closure or testing of engineering studies. There's no traffic study being done as a part of this, just a fun fall
That
thing.
rumor ran wild.
I think they're copying like what happens in Burlington behind like Arts Riot. You know, they have the food trucks.
Same idea.
Same
Yep.
idea.
I'm thrilled to see it. I mean, it's nice that it kind of aligns with Connect the Junction stuff, but yeah, to be clear,
You're not doing
not doing a traffic study as a part of it.
The previously the community sort of functions like that happened as a block party and closed down all of Railroad Ave, which is is actually too big for that event, but it's something that people that planners for a long time, including the whole design five corners and all of those studies all had this general concept that wouldn't it be nice if we could do something like that, and so it's kind of interesting that EJRP has figured out how to do it, because it took a lot of effort from a lot of other people working with the fire department and the police department to even begin to think about how that might happen. And the Crescent Connector being completed was a big piece of that, and so it's nice to see that they'll get a chance to experiment with that.
Absolutely.
The fire station mural grant,
Yeah.
which I should know what the grant is actually for. Is that for, what is it actually for?
Yeah, so city was selected for design funding through the Vermont Arts Council. I think it's called the Animating Infrastructure Grant. The idea is to take more dull utilitarian aspects of the city and add a mural to them. So, concrete barriers, intersections, things like that. Elijah Massey of the Planning Commission put together an excellent proposal for one of the sides of the fire station, and we were selected for design funding. So should be rolling soon on putting a cross-departmental city council committee of sorts to select an artist. And to be clear, this is a design grant. So we would end up getting a mural design, and then if we would choose to proceed, we could seek implementation grant funding separately.
That's awesome. I saw somebody on maybe YouTube that was an artist with spray paint, but we're not talking about the kind of funky ones that you see that tended to look more like graffiti. This one was artistic, incredible illustrations that happen to be achieved with skillful manipulation of spray paint cans, which absolutely was stunning.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that are possible. I know Montreal does a lot of this on their buildings. Other places that have used it, so I can't wait to see what people come up with.
Absolutely.
You kind of an inch, it's right across from the sort of parking lot entrance from City Hall, right? City offices. So
Viewable.
is that the wall that we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Facing the Brown Owl Pavilion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pretty viewable and accessible area. I think it should serve a lot of different people.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Anything else? We're definitely at time.
That's it for me.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are
Aye.
adjourned.